How we doing, folks? Your host Moose here on the Pitt Panthers Football Network as your Pitt Panthers head to Durham, North Carolina to take on the Duke Blue Devils. The Blue Devils have struggled a bit this year. They're at the cellar of the ACC Coastal Division, 1-4 in conference, 3-6 on the season. They have to win out if they want to get bowl eligible. It's going to be a tough task against number 10 Pitt, 4-1 in the conference, 8-1 overall, and looking to get back to the ACC championship, which they were in 2 years ago against Clemson. The Panthers look to do it again this year. So we'll send you out to Durham for the Panthers and Blue Devils. And the Blue Devils will kick off. Maurice French will fair catch it in the back of the end zone, and the Panthers will start on offense, led, of course, by leading rusher Darren Hall. Struggled last week, only 34 yards on the ground. Quadri Olson didn't do much better, had somewhere in the 60s. But the Panthers did have a great game. Still, Kenny Pickett actually passed for 262 yards, and the Panthers came away with a 17-7 victory against Georgia Tech. They start off with a run to Quadri Olson, still listed on the injury report with a high ankle sprain. He's probable, so he's been fighting that off. Hopefully he'll be able to get through this game unscathed and finally get that back to 100%, but we'll see if that limits him today. Kenny Pickett starting off very strong, finds Antonio Greer for a nice gain and a first down for the Panthers. Hall now gets his first carry. It's going to be a healthy dose of Darren Hall and Quadri Olson you'd have to expect against this Blue Devils defense that's really struggled this year. Pretty much every offensive category Duke hasn't done much in. 2nd and 6, though. Pickett back to pass, and he's nearly intercepted over the middle. Anton Williams deflects the ball away, and it's going to be 3rd and 6 for the Panthers, who come out in a 4-wide set. Trips to Pickett's right with Olson in the backfield. Back to pass. Looks. Kenny Pickett's going deep. He's got a man. It's Aaron Matthews. He's off to the races. Touchdown, Panthers. A 54-yard bomb. Pickett saw the Duke defense in zone, and Matthews just runs past the zone, essentially. Pickett puts it right into his hands, hits him in stride, and Matthews waltzes his way into the end zone. No one's going to catch him, and just like that, the Panthers blow this game wide open, 7-0. And if we look around the ACC, Georgia Tech upsets number 17 Miami 31-27. That's huge in the confines of the ACC. That gives Miami 2 losses. That means they're going to have to beat Pitt and win out the remainder of their games to win the ACC Coastal. Some other big games: Virginia Tech losing to NC State, meaning they're essentially out of the ACC Coastal Division race with 3 losses. Now it's going to essentially come down to Pitt versus Miami, so long as the Panthers can take care of business here against the Blue Devils. Duke with a very good quarterback in Daniel Jones. They, of course, have some decent talent outside as well. TJ Ramming is a receiver the Panthers will have to watch out for, and Duke's going to look to really tire out this Pitt defense with a spread passing attack that's going to definitely air the ball out consistently. But Joseph Ajigbe gets 13 yards on that carry, and Duke's moved the ball into Panthers territory early on here on their opening drive. Jones back to pass now, looking, can't evade the rush. That's Sean Wolfgang, the sophomore defensive end who's had an unbelievable season, gets into the backfield, brings him down for a loss of 7. 3rd and 17 now. Duke back to the line here in the shotgun. Jones is back to pass, looking, plenty of time. He's eventually pressured. That's Keyshawn Camp who forced the throw. Jones gets it away, but it's 4th and 17. Duke will punt the ball away, and the Panthers will take over at their 20 after a touchback, with Quadri Olson kind of weaving his way forward. Only picks up about 2, and it's going to be now 3rd and 8 for the Panthers. Pickett back in the shotgun. It's a similar 3 wide to the right set here. He's back looking to the right, has to roll out. Nobody available. He just throws the ball away so that the Panthers don't lose yardage there, but they'll have to punt the ball away. And Duke, after a very good return, is going to start with field position in the Panthers' end, in the Panthers' half. And it's a great first play here. 1st and 10. Jones finds Chris Taylor for 16, and Duke marches down to the Pitt 28. 1st and 10 now. Jones in the shotgun. The Panthers bring pressure off the edge, but Duke picks it up fantastically, and a screen to Taylor goes for 2 yards. So 2nd and 8 now for the Blue Devils as they get back to the line. Panthers rushing 6 again, it looks like. Jones forced to chuck the ball out wide to Lee. Another little screen route, and the ball's out. Keyshawn Camp forced it out. Damar Hamlin recovers it. It's a big hit. The defensive tackle camp was in zone. He was in kind of a QB spy zone. He gets over there. Huge hit on the receiver. Forces the ball out, and Damar Hamlin recovers, and the Panthers will take over at their own 20-yard line. Unbelievable bit of play by the Panthers. Pickett now running a little bit of triple option here. He pitches it out to Paul Lease, maybe a bit too early on the pitch there, and Lease goes nowhere. It's going to be third and very long for the Panthers. 3rd and 11 here from the 20-yard line. 4 wide receiver set to Pickett. Looks, finds Trey Tipton on the seam route. Gets it just before the safety's able to come up and make the tackle. That's 14 and a first down for the Panthers nearing their own 35-yard line. Hall in the backfield is going to take the handoff from Pickett. The Panthers' best run of the day so far, and that's not saying much as Hall goes for 6, and it'll be 3rd and short now for the Panthers. Shotgun formation for Pickett. Trey Tipton goes in motion out of the slot. It's a little bit of a wide receiver option here. Pickett looked like he could have held on to it and fought for the first down. Instead, he pitches it to Tipton, who's behind the line, only gets a yard, and the Panthers will have to punt the ball away. So late in the first here, Pitt just a single possession lead. They've moved the ball fairly well, but the play calling in third down scenarios has not been great so far. Duke moving the ball into Panther territory for the 3rd time this quarter as Daniel Jones finds Taylor underneath. He fights his way, stays in bounds to about the 30-yard line, 20-yard pickup, and the Blue Devils are within field goal range again, and they'll look to hang on to the ball this time. 1st and 10. Jones back to pass. Pressure coming. He's hit off the edge. I think that was Artis Scott who got in, leveled Jones, forcing the incompletion, and it's going to be 3rd and 8 now for the Blue Devils. Panthers in a dime set. Jones over the middle finds a Jigbay. He's brought down by Salim Brightwell, but not after picking up first down yardage for Duke. Jones now back to pass. Plenty of time. Surveys his options. Looks wide to the sideline. It's intercepted. Damar Hamlin with his 2nd takeaway of the game. He recovered the fumble on the last drive. This time he takes it away with an interception, and the Panthers have flipped the field and are going the other way. Jones had plenty of time. He decided to check it down to his man streaking up the sideline, but Hamlin was sitting there waiting for it in his little bit of zone there and takes the ball away, and the Panthers will go on offense from their own 43. George Aston, the fullback, goes in motion. It's a handoff to Olesen. He gets to the outside, picks up 10, setting up 3rd and inches now for the Panthers. The first run of over 3 yards for Olesen today. Aston in motion yet again, the utility fullback, the senior, leading the way as Olesen's going to fight forward, pick up about 5, and get the Panthers a first down late in the first quarter as the clock winds down. Pickett 5 wide set. He's in the shotgun now. 1st and 10. He's back, looking, rolls to his right, checks it down. That's Rafael Arujo-Lopes. He breaks a tackle, gets out wide, fights off another tackle. The redshirt senior from Florida fights his way forward for 18, and the Panthers are driving towards the end zone here at the end of the first quarter, leading Duke 7-0. So as we get the second quarter underway here, the Panthers face a 2nd and 7 from the Duke 22-yard line. Kenny Pickett lines up in the shotgun. He's got a tight end offset to the right-hand side. He's going to hand it off this time. It's Quadri Olesen finds some running room, picks up 7 on the off-tackle carry, and it's 1st and 10 for the Panthers, creeping inside the 15-yard line. Pickett's got Olesen to his right this time. He's going to hand it off the other way. Olesen tries to fight his way through the middle, but he does get busted up after about 4 yards. And the Panthers will now face 3rd and 5. Pickett under center this time. 2 receivers to his right. He rolls out to his right, looking that way, finds Trey Tipton underneath, makes the catch, and does just enough to get the first down. He needed 5, and he got 5. And the Panthers will face 1st and goal now for about the 3.5-yard line. Fullback Aston in motion. It's Olesen off tackle to the right-hand side. Fights 1 tackle off, and he looked like he could have gone to the end zone, but Aston couldn't hold his block, and they bring Olesen down at about the 5. 2nd and goal now. Panthers I formation. Matthews in motion. It's a fake of an end around. Pickett rolls out to his right. Nobody out there. It's going to be a bootleg out to the right-hand side. Nobody had contain on Kenny Pickett, and he waltzes into the end zone, evading the defensive end, and he gives the Panthers a 2-touchdown lead. Just like that, he gets around one man, and he could have crawled into the end zone if he wanted to. Well, not really college rules. He'd have been down, but it was that easy. Pickett into the end zone, and the Panthers now lead 14-0. So that's a passing and a rushing score for Kenny Pickett, who's really turned it on of late. Didn't throw a touchdown against Georgia Tech last week. Did have an interception, but 262 yards was one of his best outputs of the season, and he's going to look to add to that as the Panthers will take the ball back. Sean Wolfgang with a huge sack, leveled Daniel Jones. He came off the edge. Nobody blocked him. He had free reign at the quarterback, who had no idea was coming on that play action, and he leveled him. Jones lucky to hold on to the ball, but the Blue Devils will have to punt it away, and so the Panthers will take over on their own 38. Play action pass. Pickett back, looking, takes a hit to go deep. He's got him in. That's Maurice French for a fantastic touchdown. Kenny Pickett. Pickett in the pocket is looking spectacular. Kenny Pickett, beautiful play action, finds French deep and takes a huge hit to make that throw. He really did. And just like that, the Panthers are up 3 scores. An unbelievable performance from Pickett right now. I think he only has like 5 completions, but he's gone for about 140 yards already and 2 scores, and the Panthers lead 21-0. Unbelievable start to the game for Pitt. Duke's just looking to stay above water right now, and that's not going to do it. Jones incomplete. He's thrown 17 times already, and we're just a few minutes into the second quarter. So Duke clearly going to be airing it out for the rest of the day today, just like they do there. Dennis Briggs not able to bring it down. It's Lloyd inside the Panthers' 10-yard line, and things have turned on their head just like that. Daniel Jones with the bomb. Dennis Briggs had a read on it but couldn't intercept it. He tries again right there. Can't get Lee Briggs. Not exactly his finest hour. 2 whiffs on passes there, and Duke's into the end zone just like that. They turn things around and cut the Panthers deficit, or the Panthers advantage, to 21-7. It's Darren Hall up the middle. Hasn't been able to get very much going at all. Picks up just a single yard there, and it's going to be 3rd and 6 now for the Panthers after 2 very short rushes. Pickett looking a screen this time. It's Quadri Olson out to the right, not able to fight his way forward. The zone from Duke really shut that down. Olson picks up 4, and the Panthers have to punt the ball away. So Duke, with that momentum from the last drive, looking to continue. A beautiful little play action pass from Jones there. They ran kind of a triple option play action, and they found the man underneath to pick up the first down. So a lot of creativity from the Blue Devils in their play calling here. Almost intercepted their play, nearly did them in there. Dane Jackson, the junior corner, did a great job knocking that away and nearly taking it away. But Jones, play action now. Looks, he's got Ramming wide open underneath. Stiff arms DeMar Hamlin. Fights off about 3 tackles before Barry Jenkins is able to come over and bring him down inside the 15. Jones now passing, lays it out wide to his fullback. That's Harris, who picks up about 7. Randy Harris underneath. Mike Allstott looking character right there. Makes a great catch and sets up 3rd and 2 now for the Blue Devils. Jones hands it off to Ajigbe. He's brought down, but after picking up the first down, Jazzy Stalker makes the stop as Paris Ford goes out with an injury. We'll have to wait and see on his recuperation if he's able to return back for this game. But Duke into the end zone. Daniel Jones on the read option, and the Blue Devils have made this a 1-possession game just like that. Dwayne Hendricks couldn't bring him down, and Jones is into the back of the end zone. Dwayne Hendricks goes down with an injury as well, being looked at by the trainers, and so the Panthers defenders are falling like flies, and they're not able to make stops. But Maurice French might have something to say about that, as he is fast, and he fights off a tackle. Every F is a multiple here. That's an 85-yard return by the junior speedster, and the Panthers are in the red zone already. Pickett, 8 completions, 173 yards, and 2 touchdowns on the day as the Panthers look to add to their tally. It's a handoff to Darren Hall. He cuts it up the middle, picks up about 6 to start off this drive here for the Panthers inside the Duke 15 already. 2nd and 4 now. Aston lining up as a second tight end and does go in motion into the backfield. It's a toss out wide to Quadri Olson. He nearly had the edge, does fight off a tackler and get the first down. But if the Panthers' right tackle, if Jones Smith could have made that block there, Olson could have waltzed into the end zone. They're going to hand off to George Aston this time. He picks up 5 on the misdirection. It's going to be 2nd and goal now at the 2 for the Panthers. They bring in the heavy set. 3 tight ends. It's a handoff. It's Olsen tries to go up the middle, and he's locked up. Could have taken it off tackle, it looked like, for the end zone. Tried to power up the middle, and it's a great stop by the Blue Devils. Pickett now. He's got Aston offset as the second tight end. He goes in motion yet again. It's play action to Olsen. Pickett looks. He's got Aston in the flat, and the Swiss Army knife, George Aston, the redshirt senior from Stevens City, Virginia, is into the end zone. Kenny Pickett, 9 completions and 3 touchdowns here in the first half for nearly 200 yards. An unbelievable start to the day for him. And Duke finds a Jigbay out wide. He fights off a tackler before going out of bounds for about 6. So a minute to play. The Blue Devils would like to get a score here before the end of the half to keep things close, especially because they'll get the ball to start the second half, so they could really make a game of it if they can get something into the end zone here, or at least a field goal at the very least. Jones back to pass, has a man deep. That's Lee, who gets behind DeMar Hamlin. A 30-yard catch for Trayvon Lee, and Duke into Panthers territory at the 27. They are shredding this Panthers pass defense right now. Jones looking, going for the end zone. He's got a man, and Jay-Z Stalker takes the ball away. It's an interception. They're going to take a look at it, because did he get a foot down at the back of the end zone? If he did, it's a huge takeaway, and take a look at that. He gets that right foot down, and that's an unbelievable takeaway by the junior safety playing in Paris Ford's stead. Ford's going to be out for the rest of this game and potentially a few more. We'll have to see after the game what things come down to for him. But that is unbelievable. Huge takeaway by Jazzy Stalker. Panthers look content to just run out the clock here. Pickett on a read option. He holds on to the ball. Gets to the outside. He's got a lane. Kenny Pickett into the open field. 50, 40, 35. Pushed out at about the 31-yard line. And the Panthers' biggest run of the day comes from their sophomore signal caller. And just like that, they could be in field goal range or even touchdown range. They have 2 timeouts, so they can't stop the clock. The whole field is open to him. Pickett in the shotgun. 9 seconds to play here in the first half. He's back to pass, rolls to his right a little bit, looking for the end zone, got him in. It's Aaron Matthews again. He hauls it in. A perfectly thrown ball. Kenny Pickett, 4 touchdowns on 10 completions, and it's going to send the Panthers into halftime with a 35-14 lead. Easily the Panthers' best half of this entire season as far as the offensive side of the ball is concerned. The defense has been great with the takeaways, but they'll definitely need to step things up as far as trying to shut down this Duke passing attack. Duke already up to 256 passing yards on the day, but the real story are those 3 turnovers. Duke, all 3 of their turnovers have been when they've had the ball inside of Panthers territory, and if they're going to try and come away with some kind of miraculous comeback, they need to turn those into touchdowns and into points. The Panthers have been incredibly efficient. Pickett, 14 passes and 4 touchdowns. Easily his best game of the season so far. Hasn't turned the ball over. As long as the Panthers keep that up, they'll emerge victorious today. So we'll see you for the second half here from Durham, North Carolina on the Pitt Panthers Football Network. So as we welcome you back to Wallace Wade Stadium for the start of the second half on the Pitt Panthers Football Network, with Pitt leading Duke 35-14. The Blue Devils going deep on the opening play, and Daniel Jones just leads TJ Ramming a little bit long, and the Blue Devils are unable to spark a big play to get themselves back in the game early here. 2nd and 10, though. It's a Jigbay to the outside, picks up great yardage on the wheel route. Nice 17-yard gain before being brought down by, it looks like, Dane Jackson, and Duke near midfield. Jones back to pass, has a ton of time. The Panthers only rush 2, and that means Sean Wolfgang is out in coverage and nearly makes an interception. That's a deflection for the defensive end on the far sideline. He does it all. 2 sacks and a deflection for the sophomore from Colorado. Jones looking deep again. Jazzy Stalker with a huge break up there. Jones, they ran a 4 vertical route, and Pitt played 3 deep coverage, so that meant 1 man was open. Jazzy Stalker, though, used his speed to get over and make a stop as Quadri Olesen goes airborne there on a 4-yard pickup. He picked up about 4 feet of air, if not more, and had 4 yards on the carry. But Darren Hall stuffed as the Panthers try and go up the middle. He's only got 19 yards on 6 carries, and the Panthers will have to punt. A huge return for the Blue Devils, and it's down at the Panthers 37 already. Jones looking on the wheel route. It's Ajigbe again underneath before being tackled by the Panthers secondary, but he picks up first down yardage. 2nd and 7 now. Ajigbe on the counter. Jazzy Stalker comes up, makes the tackle with Elijah Zeiss, but not after Ajigbe picks up 16 down to the Panthers 7-yard line. So Duke looking to bring it back within 2 scores if they can plow it into the end zone here. Ajigbe underneath. He's brought down. That's Dennis Briggs on the tackle, the senior safety, as he picks up 3 down to the 4-yard line. Duke hurries back to the line. They've been using this hurry-up offense to great effect in the passing game, but when they've got near the red zone, it's done nothing for him. That's senior Elijah Zeiss with the tackle underneath. Ajigbe loses a yard, and it's 3rd and goal. Screen pass now. Jones finds Ajigbe out wide, but Dane Jackson does a great job at fighting off the coverage and forcing Ajigbe out of bounds, and Duke will have to settle for a field goal, which in the scope of things really doesn't do much for them. They're still down 18 points and 3 scores. The Panthers will take over at their own 25 here. Pickett in the shotgun, hands it off, tackle to Quadri Olsen. He breaks away from a tackler into the 2nd level, and that's 28 yards, the biggest carry of the game for the Panthers senior running back. He's now up to 70 yards on the day, and the Panthers are going to break out a little bit of wildcat. Olsen going to take the ball and he's going to hand off to Paul Lease on a jet sweep out of the Wildcats. A 4-yard pickup for the freshman out of New Jersey, and it's going to be 3rd and 3 now for the Panthers. Aston goes in motion. They hand it off to Olsen. He breaks away from a tackler, but he's brought down by a swarm of Blue Devils, and it's going to be 4th and 1, and the Panthers elect to punt it away rather than risk giving the ball away to a Blue Devils offense that has moved the ball fairly successfully on the Panthers. And it's a good decision as Kaiser Artis-Scott leaps up to down it at the 5-yard line. So a great punt by freshman Eric Fox. Artis-Scott recovers it, and Duke's going to take over at the 5 where Jones throws an errant pass here. 3rd and 7 now for the Blue Devils. They're backed up inside their own 10. The Panthers are bringing some pressure with Artis-Scott off the edge. Jones just gets it away, and he finds Trayvon Lee for 9 and a first down. That was very close to being a safety, but Duke now moving the ball very well. Ajigbe on the ground picks up 11, and he's over 50 yards for the day. So Duke's offense has been moving the ball fantastically. The Panthers have just made stops when they've needed to. Jones looking out wide. That's TJ ramming with a leaping grab, 26 yards. Jones had all the time in the world, found his man, and Jones shows why he may be a pro prospect when he decides to hang him up here at Duke. He's going to run here. The big man scrambles, fights off a tackle. Briggs comes forward and brings him down after he picks up 6. So it's a tight shotgun formation now for Jones. 4 wide, looking underneath, and it's picked off by Dane Jackson going the other way. And these are the mistakes that have cost the Blue Devils. They move the ball into Pitt territory again, and Jones just careless with the ball, doesn't see Jackson underneath, and the Panthers play takeaway for the 4th time today. They're going to turn their turnover differential back into the positive. Pitt came in with a -3 turnover differential. They've got 4 takeaways today, and they're turning things into positive directions. Darren Hall with his best run of the game, 21 yards, and moves the ball to the Duke 33-yard line. Aaron Matthews in motion, fake the jet sweep and the play action. Pickett rolls out to his right, looks underneath, can't find Tipton, and it's going to be 3rd and 10 now for the Panthers. Trips in tight, a bunch formation to Pickett's left as he's in the shotgun. Back to pass, looking, deep ball. Pickett trying for the end zone, but Tipton can't hang on to it. He did get his hands on it, but he wasn't able to bring it in. The Panthers really in no man's land here. They're going to elect to go for it from the 33. 5 wide set. Pickett finds his man. That's Paul Lease. And it's going to be a touchdown as Duke vacated the middle of the field. And I think if you've noticed with these touchdowns for the Panthers today, the big thing to take away is Duke is very aggressive with man coverage. Their safeties are always covering guys, which means they don't have any cover 2 or cover 1 or any kind of help over the top, which means when the Panthers send a guy deep either over the middle or to the sideline, if that guy can beat the man that's covering him, he is off to the races. That's how they scored with French. That's how they scored with Matthews twice. And now Paul Lease over the middle was able to get open, no help over the top, and so all Pickett had to do was just lay it out there for him. He makes the catch, and he puts his unbelievable speed to use in racing into the end zone. Daniel Jones leveled in the backfield here. That's James Folston with the tackle, and that's going to send us to the fourth quarter with your Pitt Panthers leading the Duke Blue Devils 42-17 on the Pitt Panthers Football Network. So Kenny Pickett leads the Panthers out to start the fourth quarter here. Pitt comfortably ahead 42-17. Running play action now. Pickett runs into traffic and he's brought down. It's going to be a 3rd and 15 for the Panthers. But it's been a very comfortable game so far for Pitt, especially Pickett passing the football unbelievably so far today. He's back. He's got Maurice French on a screen on 3rd and very long. French finds off a tackle, uses that speed, and he flies to the outside for 18, and the Panthers convert on 3rd and 15. Darren Hall's going to take a handoff up the middle. He fights off a tackler and gets through for a great run, picking up 12, moving the ball near midfield. Pickett's been unbelievable today. 6 touchdowns, and he's had a hand in all of them. He's passed for 5 touchdowns. He also ran a score in. It's been an unbelievable day for him, and Darren Hall is really adding to his statistics here late in the game. 32 yards. He's had 2 carries of 20-plus now on the day, and he's up near 80 with about 11 carries so far today. It's going to be a handoff for Hall again. Finds a nice hole up the middle on 3rd and 6. Fights forward for about 4th and inches, and the Panthers have all of a sudden their rushing attack has come alive. 225 rushing yards on the day. They will have to settle for a field goal, though, from Jay Bump. That kick is up, and that kick is good from the sophomore, and the Panthers push their lead to 45-17. Blue Devils facing 3rd and 2 now. It's a handoff to Ajigbe up the middle. He's easily able to get forward for the first down before being brought down by senior James Folston. Duke really kind of playing out the string at this point, nearing the halfway mark in the fourth quarter. Jones on the read option does get the first down, but I think the Blue Devils they're not attacking deep like they're expecting to come back anymore, and the Panthers are really just looking to put together a good solid performance still, as Jones does find his receiver out wide. He has passed for 379 yards on the day. He's thrown about 50 passes, so you expect that when Duke's behind the entirety of the game. They know that their strength is in their quarterback, so you expect to see a lot of passing from him. 50 passes on the day for Jones as he nears 400 yards, and they're in the red zone. Jones is going to keep on the read option and be leveled in the backfield. Senior Felipe Motley with the tackle forces the loss of 2 from the quarterback, and it's going to be 2nd and 12. Panthers drop back in a zone as there's a draw handoff to Ajigbe. He fights his way forward, picks up about 10, and it's a good solid pickup for the Blue Devils down to the Panthers' 8-yard line. 3rd and 2 shotgun look for Jones. It's another handoff to Ajigbe. He gets to about the 6 and does just enough for the first down. 1st and goal now, and after 2 successive penalties on the Panthers, it's 1st and goal from the 2. Jones looks underneath. He's got Jonathan Lloyd for the score. The Blue Devils with a little bit of consolation to send their fans home, at least seeing one more touchdown as they cut the Panthers' advantage to 3 touchdowns, 45-24. Pickett, though, handing off. That's freshman C.J. London with his first carry of the game, getting a little bit of work here in garbage time as he picks up 4, and he's in the game here. Pickett looking, finds his man. That's Trey Tipton. Beautiful spin move by the junior receiver who's really had some injury struggles the last couple years. It's great to see him have a good game. 3 receptions on the day for him, and the Panthers are in the red zone. It's a handoff to Olesen now. 3rd and 5, fights off a tackler, gets the first down. Quadri Olesen just has so much determination. He fights his way forward for that first down. Panthers inside the 10. Asta in motion. It's a pitch out wide to C.J. London. He is going to waltz into the end zone for the touchdown. 7-yard score for the freshman, and that's an unbelievable confidence booster with under a minute to play in the fourth quarter. It's just one more score. The Panthers really pouring it on here. A great performance overall, and they're going to come out of this game with an unbelievable victory. A huge confidence booster for Kenny Pickett. 13 completions, 288 yards. He ran for 43 as well. 6 total touchdowns in easily the most complete game of his career. Didn't turn over the ball once. And the Panthers put a drubbing on the Dukies here in Durham. Say that 5 times fast. In a huge victory. So we thank y'all for tuning in here on the Pitt Panthers Football Network. a complete performance from your Panthers. Defensively, they were spectacular as far as taking the ball away and limiting Duke's chances when they had to. They were bending but not breaking. The offense was lights out, and the Panthers will walk away with a convincing 52-24 victory. So as always, thank you so much for tuning in. This is Moose here signing off from the Pitt Panthers Football Network. Hail to Pitt. We'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.